Living with arthritis can feel like your body's fighting against you every single day. But here's something your doctor might not have told you. The right kind of movement can actually be your secret weapon against joint pain. Today, I'm sharing 6 gentle but powerful exercises that have helped thousands of people regain their mobility and get back to doing what they love. And stick around until the end, because the last exercise changed my patients' lives. We're talking about going from barely moving to dancing again. Before we dive into these game-changing exercises, let's talk about what's actually happening in your joints. You know that stiffness you feel in the morning? That's because arthritis causes inflammation in your joint lining. Think of it like a rusty door hinge that needs some WD-40. But here's the amazing thing about our bodies. Gentle movement actually helps reduce that inflammation and creates natural lubricating fluid in your joints. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Won't exercise make my pain worse? That's a totally normal worry, but here's the deal. When you move the right way, you're actually helping your joints heal. It's like oiling that rusty hinge. At first, it might feel stiff, but with gentle, consistent movement, things start running smoothly again. Quick safety note before we start. You should feel a gentle stretch or mild discomfort, but if you ever feel sharp pain, that's your body's way of saying too much, too soon. And while these exercises have helped thousands of people, it's always smart to check with your doctor, especially if you've had recent joint surgery or a flare-up. Keep in mind, everyone's arthritis journey is different. Some of you might be dealing with osteoarthritis from years of working on your feet. Others might have rheumatoid arthritis that comes and goes. That's why I'll show you how to modify each exercise to match where you're at today. Exercise 1, the gentle giant water walking. You might be surprised that our first exercise doesn't involve any fancy equipment, just a pool in your body. Water walking has been a complete game changer for so many of my patients, and here's why. When you're chest deep in water, your body only bears about 25% of its normal weight. Think about that. It's like taking 75% of the pressure off your aching joints instantly. What makes this exercise so powerful is that water provides natural resistance in all directions. Every step you take is like getting a gentle massage for your joints while strengthening the muscles around them. It's basically like having a personal trainer and a physical therapist all rolled into one, but without the hefty price tag. Here's how to do it right. Find a pool where the water reaches about chest height. If you're new to this, start in the shallow end. There's no shame in taking it slow. Keep your back straight, just like you're walking down the street to get your mail. Take normal-sized steps, rolling from heel to toe. Let your arms swing naturally at your sides. This helps with balance and gets your upper body involved too. Start with just 5 minutes of walking if you're new to this. You might feel like you could do more, and that's great, but trust me, it's better to start slow and build up. Many of my patients work up to 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week, and they tell me they actually look forward to their pool time now. Here's a pro tip that most people don't know. The best time for water walking is often mid-morning, after your joints have had a chance to warm up from morning stiffness, but before you're tired from daily activities. And if the pool's heated, even better, warm water helps relax those tense muscles around your joints. Watch out for these common mistakes. Don't walk on your tiptoes, keep those feet flat. Avoid leaning forward, imagine a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Don't rush. This isn't a race, it's about quality movement. You'll know you're making progress when everyday movements start feeling easier. Maybe you'll notice you can reach down to pick up something without wincing, or getting out of bed doesn't feel like such a production anymore. These are the wins we're looking for. Now, if you don't have access to a pool, don't worry. Our next exercise is one you can do right at home, and it's just as effective in its own way. But before we move on, here's something cool. Researchers at the University of Utah found that people who did water exercises 3 times a week reported 40% less joint pain after just 8 weeks. Pretty amazing, right? Exercise 2, the chair warrior, seated Tai Chi movements. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Tai Chi? Really? But stay with me here because this might be the gentlest yet most powerful exercise you've never tried. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that Tai Chi-inspired movements can reduce arthritis pain by up to 36%. And the best part? You can do these right from your favorite chair. This exercise is all about smooth, flowing movements that help lubricate your joints. Think of it like adding WD-40 to a squeaky door, but for every joint in your body. What makes this so special is that it combines gentle movement with deep breathing, which actually helps reduce inflammation in your body. It's like a 2-for-1 deal for fighting arthritis pain. Here's how to make this work for you. Start by sitting comfortably in a sturdy chair. No rockers or wheels, we want stability here. Sit toward the edge of your seat with your feet flat on the floor, about hip-width apart. Imagine you're sitting like royalty. Tall spine but relaxed shoulders. Now here's where the magic happens. Start with opening the window. Raise your hands to chest height, palms facing each other like you're holding a beach ball. Now slowly push your hands apart, like you're opening a heavy curtain. As you do this, take a deep breath in through your nose. Then bring your hands back together while breathing out through your mouth. This simple movement helps mobilize your shoulder joints, wrists, and fingers all at once. Next, add the floating clouds. As you move your hands apart, let them float up slightly, then down in a gentle wave motion. Imagine you're moving your hands through warm water. No sharp or jerky movements. This adds a wonderful range of motion to your shoulders and helps improve circulation to all those small joints in your hands. Here's what most people get wrong at first. They rush through the movements. Remember, slower is better. They hold their breath. Breathing is just as important as moving. They tense their shoulders. We want everything to stay relaxed. You'll know you're doing it right when it feels almost like a moving meditation. After about 10 minutes of these gentle movements, you might notice your joints feel warmer and more flexible. That's your body's natural lubricating fluid getting to work. Start with 5 to 10 minutes, practicing these movements twice a day. Many of my patients do this in the morning to ease stiffness and again in the evening to help them sleep better. Some even do it during TV commercials. Talk about making good use of advertisement breaks. And here's an encouraging fact from a study in the Journal of Rheumatology. People who practiced seated Tai Chi movements regularly reported not just less pain, but better sleep and more energy throughout their day. Pretty impressive for something you can do without even leaving your chair, right? Stay tuned for our next exercise, which is going to focus on something we all want: better balance and stronger legs. But don't skip ahead. These exercises work best when you master them one at a time. Exercise 3, the kitchen counter balance builder. Before we dive into this next exercise, I want to share something amazing about your body. Did you know that every time you improve your balance, you're actually reducing the stress on your joints? It's true. And this next exercise, which I call the kitchen counter balance builder, is something I've seen transform people's lives, from being afraid of falling to confidently walking through the grocery store. You might be wondering why we're heading to the kitchen. Well, your counter is about to become your best friend for this exercise. It's the perfect height, it's super stable, and let's be honest, it's nice to have a snack nearby when you're done. But seriously, having a sturdy surface at the right height is crucial for building confidence in your balance work. Here's how to do it. Stand facing your kitchen counter about arm's length away. Place your hands lightly on the counter, and I mean lightly. We're using it for balance, not for holding ourselves up. Keep your feet about hip-width apart, and stand tall like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head. Now for the good stuff, slowly shift your weight to your right foot. And when I say slowly, I mean like you're moving through honey. The slower you go, the more your balance muscles have to work. That's where the magic happens. Once you feel stable, lift your left foot just an inch off the ground. Hold for a count of 5, then slowly lower it back down. Then switch sides. The real secret to this exercise is what's happening inside your body. Every time you balance on one leg, even for a few seconds, you're strengthening the muscles around your hip, knee, and ankle joints. It's like building a natural brace for your joints, but better because it moves with you. Here's what to watch out for. Don't grip the counter like it's a life raft. Light touch only. Keep breathing normally. Holding your breath won't help your balance. Don't lock your standing knee. Keep a tiny bend in it. If your legs start shaking, that's actually good. It means those stabilizing muscles are working. Start with 5 repetitions on each leg. That might not sound like much, but remember, we're building a foundation here. As you get stronger, try holding for longer, or maybe even try it with just one finger on the counter. Some of my patients have worked up to doing this while waiting for their coffee to brew. Talk about multitasking. Here's an incredible fact that keeps me excited about this exercise. Research from the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy shows that improving your balance can reduce joint pain by up to 30%. Why? Because when you're more stable, you're not putting extra stress on your joints trying to catch yourself from little stumbles throughout the day. I remember one patient, let's call her Margaret, who started this exercise thinking she'd never feel steady on her feet again. 3 weeks later, she was walking through her garden without her cane. Now, I'm not saying that'll happen for everyone, but I've seen this simple exercise make some pretty remarkable changes in people's lives. Get ready for our fourth exercise, which is going to give you back something many people with arthritis miss: the ability to reach those high kitchen shelves without wincing. But first, practice this one until you feel like a balance pro. Exercise 4, the wall slide, your secret weapon against shoulder pain. You know that feeling when you're trying to reach something on a high shelf and your shoulder protests like it's throwing a temper tantrum? Well, this next exercise is about to change that. The wall slide is what I call a miracle worker for shoulder mobility. And it's so simple you might wonder why nobody told you about it before. Think about your shoulders for a second. They're like the puppet masters of your arms, but when arthritis strikes, they can get as stiff as a board in winter. The wall slide is going to help change that, and all you need is a wall. No fancy equipment, no gym membership, just you and your trusty wall. Here's the magic formula. Stand with your back against a wall, about a foot away from it. Lean back slightly so your upper back and bottom touch the wall. Don't worry if you can't get completely flat against it. We're not going for perfection here. Now bring your arms up like you're surrendering. Elbows bent at 90 degrees, backs of your hands touching the wall. Now for the fun part, slowly slide your arms up the wall, like you're doing a slow motion victory celebration. Keep those elbows and hands touching the wall if you can. Only go as high as feels comfortable. We're not training for the Olympics here. Then just as slowly, slide them back down. That's one rep, and it's doing amazing things for your shoulder joints. What's happening inside is pretty cool. As you slide up and down, you're creating space in your shoulder joints. It's like giving them a gentle stretch and massage all at once. Plus, you're training those muscles to work together smoothly, something that arthritis often messes with. Watch out for these common hiccups. Don't arch your back off the wall. Keep that core gently engaged. Avoid rushing. Slower is better, like you're moving through thick honey. If your shoulders start clicking, go slower and maybe not quite as high. Keep breathing. A lot of people hold their breath without realizing it. Start with just 5 slides, taking about 5 seconds up and 5 seconds down. You might be surprised how much you feel it. Some of my patients do this while watching TV. During commercial breaks, they stand up and do a few slides. Smart, right? Here's some exciting science for you. Researchers found that gentle shoulder mobility exercises like this one can improve range of motion by up to 30% in just 3 weeks. One of my patients, who couldn't reach her back pocket when we started, was doing her own hair again after a month of daily wall slides. Listen to your body with this one. If you feel a gentle stretch, that's perfect. If you feel any sharp pain, that's your cue to back off a bit. Remember, we're playing the long game here. Small, consistent progress beats rushing every time. Stay tuned for exercise number 5, which is going to help with something we all need: better hip mobility. But master this one first, your shoulders will thank you. Exercise 5, the hip glide, your path to pain-free walking. Before I show you this next exercise, let me tell you about Mary, one of my favorite success stories. She could barely walk to her mailbox because of hip pain, but after mastering this exercise, she's now walking around the mall with her grandkids. The hip glide might look simple, but it's like a master key that unlocks your hip mobility. You know how your hips feel like they're rusted shut sometimes, especially in the morning? There's a fascinating reason for that. When we don't move our hips through their full range of motion, the joint fluid gets thick, kind of like honey that's been in the fridge. This exercise helps thin that fluid out, making your hips move smoothly again. Here's how to do the hip glide. Lie on your back on your bed or couch. See, we're starting relaxed. Bring one knee toward your chest, keeping the other leg straight. Now, here's the key part that most people miss. Hold behind your knee, not on top of it, and make small circles with your knee about the size of a softball. Imagine you're stirring a pot, but very, very slowly. What's happening is pretty amazing. As you make these circles, your hip joint is getting bathed in lubricating fluid. It's like adding fresh oil to a squeaky door hinge. The gentle pressure also helps break up any stiffness in the joint capsule. That's the tissue envelope around your hip joint. Here are the crucial details to make this work. Keep your circles slow and controlled. Imagine moving through warm maple syrup. Don't force the movement. Your hip should feel like it's floating. Keep your other leg relaxed. No need to hold it down. Breathe deeply. Oxygen helps your muscles relax. Start with 5 circles in each direction, then switch legs. Some of my patients do this while watching their morning news, multitasking at its finest. The best time to do this is actually first thing in the morning, before your feet even hit the floor. It's like giving your hips a gentle wake-up call. Now, here's something fascinating from recent research. Circular hip movements like this can increase hip mobility by up to 40% while reducing pain signals to the brain. Think about that. You're not just moving better, you're actually changing how your brain processes pain. You'll know you're making progress when getting in and out of the car feels easier. You can put on socks without doing acrobatics. Walking doesn't feel like you're dragging heavy weights. Your lower back feels less tense throughout the day. I had one patient who combined this with our previous exercises and told me she felt like she'd found the fountain of youth for her joints. While I can't promise miracles, I've seen this simple movement change lives when done consistently. Get ready for our final exercise. It's the one that's going to bring everything together and might just be the biggest game changer yet. But remember, master this one first. Your hips are the bridge between your upper and lower body, and when they move well, everything else gets easier. Exercise 6, the freedom flow, where everything comes together. Remember how I promised to save the best for last? Well, this final exercise is what I call the freedom flow, and it's going to bring together everything we've learned to create something truly remarkable. This is the exercise that had one of my patients crying tears of joy because she could finally pick up her toddler grandson without pain. The freedom flow is based on a fascinating discovery from pain researchers at Stanford University. They found that when we combine gentle movement with rhythm and breathing, we can actually reprogram how our brain processes pain signals. Think of it like updating your body's operating system to run more smoothly. Here's the beautiful part. We're going to combine elements from all the previous exercises into one flowing sequence. Imagine you're conducting an orchestra, but instead of music, you're conducting a symphony of joint movement. Each part builds on the next, creating a complete circuit of mobility. Let's break it down. Start by standing near your counter for balance if you need it. Begin with a gentle weight shift from side to side, just like we learned in the balance builder. Now add those arm movements from our wall slides, but make them flow like the Tai Chi movements we practiced. As you get comfortable, let your hips make small circles like in the hip glide, but now you're standing. The magic happens when you connect your breath to the movement. Breathe in as you expand and reach, breathe out as you return to center. It's like you're dancing with your own breath. And before you say, I can't dance, remember, this is just gentle, flowing movement. Here's what to keep in mind. Start small. Your movements should feel like gentle waves. Let your breath lead the way, no holding or forcing. If something doesn't feel right, make it smaller. Imagine you're moving through warm water. Keep your movements connected, like one movement flows into the next. Begin with just 2 to 3 minutes. You might feel a bit awkward at first. That's totally normal. One of my patients said she felt like a rusty robot when she started. But after a week, she said she felt like she was floating through her kitchen. The science behind this is incredible. When we combine rhythmic movement with breath awareness, we activate our body's natural pain-relieving systems. It's like opening all the windows in a stuffy room. Everything just works better. You'll know this is working when your morning stiffness starts to fade faster. You catch yourself moving more freely without thinking about it. Everyday tasks feel more like fluid movements than jerky actions. You start looking forward to movement instead of dreading it. Here's what makes the freedom flow so special. It's adaptable to your good days and bad days. On good days, make your movements bigger, more flowing. On tough days, keep them smaller, gentler. It's like having different gears in a car. You always have options. Now, before we wrap up with our bonus section, I want to share something important. Consistency beats intensity every time. Even 5 minutes of the freedom flow done regularly will bring better results than an hour-long session once in a while. Think of it like watering a plant. Little and often works better than a flood once a month. Bonus section, your weekly game plan for success. Since you've stayed with me through all 6 exercises, I'm going to share something special. A complete weekly plan that turns these exercises into a simple, manageable routine. Think of this as your roadmap to better mobility and less pain. Here's what a perfect week looks like. Morning routine, 10 to 15 minutes. Start your day with the hip glide while still in bed. Yes, before your feet even touch the floor. Follow it with 2 to 3 minutes of the freedom flow. It's like giving your joints a gentle wake-up call. Many of my patients say this morning routine has replaced their need for morning pain medications. Throughout your day, remember that kitchen counter balance builder? Do it while waiting for your coffee to brew or your microwave to beep. Turn those waiting moments into healing moments. The wall slides are perfect during TV commercials. You're already getting up to grab a snack anyway, right? Evening ritual, 15 minutes. This is when the seated Tai Chi movements shine. They help release the day's tension and prepare your body for restful sleep. End with another short Freedom Flow session. Think of it as your joints' lullaby. Environment setup tips. Create what I call movement reminder stations in your home. Put a sticky note on your bathroom mirror reminding you to do shoulder circles while brushing your teeth. Keep a printed reminder of the Freedom Flow sequence on your fridge. These visual cues help build lasting habits. Progress tracking. In my 20 years of working with arthritis patients, I've noticed something interesting. Those who track their progress are twice as likely to stick with their exercises. Start a simple journal. Just note your pain levels from 1 to 10 and which activities you did each day. You'll be amazed at the patterns you discover. Remember when we started and I mentioned how these exercises could change your life? Well, now you have all the tools to make that happen. These aren't just random movements. They're your key to reclaiming the freedom to move without fear, to play with grandkids, to garden, to dance, to live fully. I want you to know something important. Progress isn't always linear. You'll have good days and challenging days. But here's the beautiful thing. Every single time you do these exercises, you're investing in your future mobility. It's like making small deposits in your joint health savings account. It all adds up. Before you go, let me know in the comments which exercise you're going to try first. I personally respond to comments, and I love hearing about your journey. Also, if you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up. It helps other people with arthritis find this information too. Remember, you're not just managing arthritis, you're building a stronger, more mobile future. See you in the comments and keep moving.